Hello and welcome to New Hope Ministries ESG Regional Application Public Hearing Meeting. Today is Thursday, July 10th, 2025, and we are holding this public meeting as part of the Emergency Solutions Grant application process that New Hope is participating in. The meeting is being recorded as noted. It will be replayed and posted on our various channels, YouTube, social media, and our website. If you are a guest and attending, please place your name in the chat for the attendance record that we are required to include in our submission of our application for this particular grant. The purpose of today's meeting is to give an overview and a discussion on the submission of New Hope Ministries application to the Department of Community and Economic Development for an Emergency Solutions Grant regional application for New Hope's homelessness prevention, rapid rehousing, and emergency shelter efforts that take place throughout Adams, Cumberland, and York counties. My name is Molly Helmstetter. I'm the Director of Development here at New Hope Ministries. And I'll shortly be introducing two other folks here that are well known at New Hope for their work in the community and the programs that we implement. Feedback and comments during the meeting can be made via the chat and will be addressed during the comments and questions portion of the meeting. And our public comment period ends on Thursday, July 17th at 3 p.m. Those meeting comments can be submitted via email. I will place the email address in the chat here. It'll also be posted on our website as well. And phone calls are also welcomed. I'll put the phone number in the chat as well. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our program director, Sue Fornicola, who's going to talk a little bit more about New Hope and our housing program specifically. And how we've been serving the community for over 42 years now. So it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Molly. I really appreciate it. I was just going to say New Hope Ministries has been around for over 42 years. And most people think of us as a food pantry, which we are. And a lot of people come through our doors to get assistance with food, which we have seen a big increase over the past year, of course, which everybody knows with the cost of everything. That has brought a lot more people through our doors, which we feel very blessed and honored to be able to serve them. We also are a mobile food pantry that we've actually gone into communities where folks maybe can't get to us due to transportation or other reasons. We've been able to serve them as well. And when we're there, we're able to share with them our workforce training programs, what we offer, our stability programs. And we offer GED and we help build resumes. We offer budgeting classes, soft skills classes. And there's a lot of things that New Hope offers that maybe folks in the communities don't know, which we want to take that time to share with everybody. But as they come through our doors, we find out if there's needs for transportation, if there's needs for childcare, if there's needs for them to obtain employment, as well as housing. And we've housed over 500 plus families since we've started to be more intentional when it comes to housing and through the use of the grants that we have been blessed with. Over 500 families since 2023, which has made a big difference in the lives of folks that come through our doors that may be sleeping in their cars, maybe sleeping on the streets, maybe sleeping in hotels. We had one young man that for almost 2 years, one of our staff members were working with them. They were in a hotel, but due to lack of transportation, it was hard for them to obtain full-time employment, which they did with the assistance of New Hope. And then were able to get into an apartment, which they had tried for quite a while to get into. And it took a little bit of time to get him in there, but he has become stable and being able to keep himself into the apartment. And if there's assistance that is needed, he knows where he can turn to. We have story after story after story of our guests that come through our doors that may come in for one need. Then they find out what we offer, and then we can find out what other needs they have and assist them. And the housing has been a big one, which we've been able to house with first month's rent or security deposit with our guests that come through. That we want no one on the streets. And it's our goal to meet as many needs as we can with the help of our guests working as hard as they can with us, whether again it's gaining full-time employment or even the resources they may not be aware of what's out there, but we can, and we do everything we can to help them with every one of their needs as they come through the door to the best of our ability once they share with us. So I feel very honored, very blessed. I've been here almost 17 years now to be able to work with our guests. And the housing, we've all seen such an increase in the needs out there. They're coming through our doors on a daily basis. And we're doing everything we can to locate landlords that will work with us and work with our guests to obtain stable housing as well as gaining stability for each one that comes through our doors. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be able to share what a difference it means to be able to have the extra income when it comes to a grant resource to be able to help our neighbors in need.
Thank you, Sue. Appreciate
You're
the work
welcome.
you and the rest of our housing team and our case managers and all the volunteers that work at New Hope Ministries are making in the lives of our neighbors who are struggling with homelessness and experiencing housing insecurity. I'm Eric Saunders. I've served for 19 years as the executive director at New Hope Ministries. And the problems of poverty and hunger and homelessness are needs I really care about. And I feel motivated by our personal faith, by the organizational mission, by the trust that we're given by so many groups, whether it's churches or local foundations or our United Ways, and especially our partnership with state and national government that help us direct services to where they're needed most. So for anybody who's going to be listening to this, know how much we appreciate you and appreciate the opportunity to participate in this emergency solutions grant, which is a vast partnership that tries its best to get services to people who need them most. So as part of this presentation, I know that it will be viewed many times after today's meeting, but our desire is, one, to meet the program requirements, and that is to have full public disclosure of the work our agency is doing and the fact that we're seeking emergency solutions grant programming. I also really desire input from the people and the communities that New Hope is serving, as we, attempt to take the resources that we're receiving both from our community supporters as well as the public grant programs we participate in. Your input helps us to make our programs better. And so whether it's going to be a part of today's meeting or in the future, please don't hesitate to share your cares and concerns. I do want to hit some of the specific description items for the Emergency Solutions Grant Program so that people know what they might be commenting on and how New Hope Ministries is using the precious resources. And so I'm going to direct attention for a minute to a couple of different websites. The first being the one that you see here, which is the website for the Housing and Urban Development, which is a federal bureau that oversees housing assistance nationwide. The Emergency Solutions Grant, which is what ESG stands for, is one of the primary vehicles for directing help towards those who are in danger of or experiencing homelessness. This will be our third application for funding. So we're now old hands at this program and are becoming experienced in the regulations and really been blessed to have these extra funds available.
Yes.
There are a number of components that the Emergency Solutions Grant is intended to be used for. And I want to quickly highlight those categories of service that New Hope is planning to participate in and has been over the last year. You'll see street outreach, but the priorities that we've identified are, first of all, emergency shelter. We know that those who are actively experiencing homelessness, their first priority is to be able to get into shelter and safe space. New Hope Ministries does not run an emergency shelter per se, but what we do is we provide referral services to be able to connect people with local shelter options. And specifically, we offer help with paying for motels. Imagine being a homeless family in your car when the temperatures are below zero and a winter storm is coming. The Emergency Solutions Grant gives us funding, additional funding to be able to get people into safe spaces. The goal then for us is, once we have somebody provided temporary shelter, is to work towards long-term permanency solutions. You'll see as well that there's a category of services called homelessness prevention. We know that there are several factors affecting our communities right now. The cost of housing remains high in the post-pandemic period. There is also a significant shortage of housing of all types, but particularly of affordable housing. Imagine a family who's gone through a financial distress, whether it was an illness or a job loss or some sort of life transition that's causing them to experience housing insecurity. Maybe they have an eviction notice. And the challenge of finding new housing is going to be much harder than trying to keep people in their homes and prevent that eviction from happening. And so New Hope is able to use ESG and other funds to support emergency rental assistance for eviction prevention while also targeting services to those families to create economic security and household security through employment, through life skills, through food services, transportation, et cetera. The many services we provide, as well as accessing services through many of our partners, whether it would be healthcare, mental health care, addictions treatment, et cetera. The next category of service for us, and this was a new one in the last year, is called rapid rehousing. And rapid rehousing is exactly what it says. And it's moving people from a state of homelessness, being in emergency shelter, to finding a home of their own and become stable in that new housing. Hopefully, it's going to be housing that's affordable for the family and also is going to have characteristics to help meet their needs. And so, to summarize, New Hope is planning on rapid rehousing, homelessness prevention, and emergency shelter. Now, I will note that there have been some change in our relationship with the Emergency Solutions Grant Program. In the prior year, we were dual recipients of Cumberland County ESG support, as well as the state regional grant support. And very grateful for both of those grants at a time of high housing need. Unfortunately for us, and for the people that we serve, we were no longer able to receive that Cumberland County grant allocation. And so the sole category that New Hope Ministries is going to be applying for the 2026 period is going to be through the state regional grant program. Now, important thing to consider about the Emergency Solutions Grant Program is that these funds are matching grant funds. For every dollar that we would receive from a federal and state funding source, we must also produce a dollar of matching support from the local community. So it could be from our United Way partners, our churches, our individual donors, local foundations, et cetera. So we think of it as the best of both worlds, that we've already received faithful and generous support, maybe not to the extent of need that we face, and we have an opportunity to leverage those precious gifts to be able to receive additional support to help our program serve housing needs in our community. So many thanks to those donors who have served us faithfully with their contributions for so many years. And we're so grateful for our public partnership with state and federal government to be able to receive these additional funds. I do want to highlight a couple of additional items about New Hope and our housing program, and I may need to stop share and then reshare to get the right screen displayed. But I want to show you some of the geographic areas that we are currently caring for and hoping to continue to care for with the support of the Emergency Solutions Grant. And you'll see this blue figure in the middle of a map of central Pennsylvania that actually reflects the communities where New Hope is providing services. And so you'll see on this the various zip codes that New Hope is helping. We got as far north as Enola and the Marysville area of Perry County, and as far south as Hanover and Littlestown, all the way down to the state line. And so we are truly a regional service provider that's encompassing parts of almost 4 counties now. Not almost, we are actually serving in 4 counties. On this map, you'll see that there are colored dots. So our home base is at the community of Dillsburg, where we were founded 42 years ago. We have the nearby communities of Dover, Redland, Lemoyne, Enola, Mechanicsburg. We're also serving in the new Oxford area of Adams County, Littlestown, Hanover, and it's exciting to announce that as of the end of 2025, we will be opening our 10th office in the Spring Grove community of Southern York County. And so all in all, this is a population area of nearly 500,000 people where we have significant homeless and housing needs, and where there's really a lack of human services other than the services that New Hope Ministries is providing. Once again, I'm going to stop share and then reshare just to be able to illustrate some of the other services that we provide. You'll notice here on our website, and would invite anybody to visit who wants to learn more about New Hope Ministries, nhm-pa.org, nhm-pa.org. You'll see different categories of services, including food and basic needs, some of our stability and workforce development programs, youth programs, which include partnerships with local school districts to serve families in poverty, our housing assistance program, which is our program of focus today, some innovative transportation assistance program, and even a mobile food pantry that takes food and services into communities where we may not have a physical presence, but where we know that there are pockets of need. Part of the structure of the Emergency Solutions Grant Program is it connects our agency and many others together through organizational groupings that are called Continuum of Care. And these Continuum of Care are delivering federal funding and services throughout the United States. And in Pennsylvania, you'll see as the map gets displayed, there's actually multiple regions. One of the larger, and I'm highlighting here the 509 area, which is the Eastern Continuum of Care, is a huge number of central and eastern counties where there are significant housing needs. And they're formed into a group of agencies and government departments that work together to be able to screen service needs, help direct people to service providers, and provide funding and administrative oversight of those programs. And so New Hope Ministries, as we're serving parts of Perry, Cumberland, and Adams County, is a participant in the Eastern Continuum of Care. But nearby, we find the York County Continuum of Care, which is the York County Coalition on Homelessness. They have a separate funding stream for their programs, a separate group of nonprofit and government program providers. And so New Hope staff participate in both of those. And one of the unique and beneficial aspects of a continuum of care is that it allows people to find resources quickly when they may be experiencing a housing crisis. And so here's an example of the counties that participate in the Eastern Continuum of Care. And you can get access to those services by dialing 211 or the number that's listed on the screen, and that you'll be routed to a service provider. Now, there's several other components of that service delivery, including a needs assessment through a process that I won't attempt to name. It's complicated, but you can look it up, as well as a database that allows information sharing across the various service provider, which is the Homeless Management Information System, or HMIS. As you can tell, there's a lot of technical details to running ESG funded homeless assistance program, and our staff have had a lot to learn over the last couple of years, but I'm pleased that they are becoming real experts and participants in this continuum of care process. So to take it to the finish line, as I quickly describe some of the services that we're going to be providing, get to the bottom line, and that is, how much money do we need? In the last 2 years, we have received $125,000 of ESG funding, through the state regional grant program, and we're so incredibly grateful for that. But I have to say that level of funding, even with the additional $125,000 of matching funds, is not sufficient to be able to serve hundreds of homeless families each year, to help them with the temporary shelter, and to prevent evictions from occurring, and to move them towards permanent shelter and continue to provide services over the next 2 years to help them maintain that housing. And so in our application, which will be filed in the next month, we are respectfully asking for an increase of funding at a $250,000 level. That will require us to receive $250,000 in matching funds to qualify for that ESG grant. And I'm pleased to share that though that is within the level of local support that we're already receiving. And so we're already qualified to receive that grant amount, and are hopeful the good work that we've done over the last year will make the case for us how much these funds are going to benefit the communities where New Hope serves. And so I just want to say thank you, and to all the organizations and partners and members of the continuum of care. It's going to be a challenging time as we go through some policy changes and some program consolidation. I think this is a time that all communities need a solid ESG partner, and I hope that the state and our community will recognize the solid work that our staff is doing. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Sue. Appreciate the overview of New Hope, the work we're doing, and how this ESG funding stream benefits the people that we're serving here at New Hope and in the greater community where New Hope operates. At this time, we will be happy to entertain and listen to any comments from anyone attending. You can either unmute and ask a question or make a comment during this time. If you'd rather write that out in the chat, we'll be able to see that and receive the comment and or question. So we'll just kind of sit here for a moment and just see if anyone who is on the call right now would like to make a comment or ask a question.
Hello, this is Rebecca Basinger. My husband and I are longtime supporters of New Hope Ministries and are just so proud of the amazing work that began in our little borough of Dillsburg. I think some people think we're too little to do something this good. And so thank you for helping making our community proud. Randy and I are especially delighted that New Hope is taking a leading role in the whole issue of homelessness and insecurity that so many families are experiencing. This last year, I personally worked with a woman who I had gotten to know through our church who was facing homelessness. And I was overwhelmed by the phone calls, by just how really difficult it was to even navigate the system. And she reached out to New Hope and was given some help. And in the end, her family came through, and that was good. But I know that many people don't have a family or friends who can come through for them like that. So I will be cheering you on. I will be praying. I will be doing anything I can, giving again if you have another matching gift opportunity to make sure that New Hope can do this. And I will be carrying the message of this back to my own congregation, Grantham Brethren in Christ Church. We were one of the founding congregations of New Hope, again, of which we are very proud, and let everyone know this amazing opportunity. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rebecca. Eric, Sue, I know, Sue, you just said thank you. Any other response to that?
I think just because of the faithfulness of people calling like this and just sharing their hearts of what New Hope does really encourages us as staff, because with the help of our volunteers and our supporters, we can help make a difference in the communities that we serve. So thank you. Eric, did you have anything?
Well, I have appreciated Rebecca and her husband's support, and all of the churches who really believe that as believers in Christ, we have a responsibility to love our neighbors as ourselves. And so that's what New Hope's all about.
Thank you so much for sharing your comments, Rebecca. Any other commentary as we come to the end of the public meeting and the agenda?
I would just add that as people watch this after the date of our meeting, we would be glad to receive additional comments and questions, and we'll do our best to provide answers. Things are not going to be getting easy over the next couple of years for those who are in poverty and faced with a housing crisis. And so it's very important that this funding stream, but also the many others that we rely on, that people remember to care for their neighbors. And our goal is to help people thrive and get out of homelessness and achieve economic stability. And so everybody's help is so appreciated.
Thank you so much, Eric, for that closing comment, essentially at this time. As Eric alluded to, we will receive public comments outside of this live public meeting. The link was included in the chat, but the period ends on Thursday, July 17th at 3 p.m. More information can be found on our website about how to submit that public comment before that deadline. And this recorded meeting will also be placed on social media, on our website, and available for viewing beyond the time of this live meeting. And the website address again is nhm-pa.org. At this time, we want to thank again everyone for joining us for this meeting and look forward to sharing the results in the next months as to how this grant will continue to help and serve folks in need in the community. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a blessed day.